Although Vita Health Group provided this exercise class provisional with your health and safety in mind, each individual participant has their own limitations and should consult their general practitioner or an appropriate medical professional prior to undertaking the class. Should you be prone to injury, are currently pregnant, or be managing any functional limiting medical conditions, please seek medical confirmation prior to participating. At all times, ensure you follow all instructions provided by Vita Health Groups throughout the entirety of the recording. Should you experience any symptoms of dizziness, nausea, or increased pain at any point during your participation, please stop and seek the appropriate advice from your general practitioner or the 111 service.
Hello and welcome to today's class. My name's Danny and I'm going to be your instructor for today. This class is the advanced shoulder class. It's aimed at people who are suffering with shoulder pain or have had shoulder pain recently, and also for people who have a past experience in exercise at an advanced level. We're going to be targeting all of the muscles in and around the shoulder joint and into the upper back. The aims are to improve strength, coordination, flexibility, mobility, a little bit of everything. All of the equipment that you're going to need for today's class is going to be shown on the screen. So all you need to do is grab a glass of water and then we will get started with our warm-up. Let's get started with our warm-up then. So with this warm-up, we're aiming to increase our heart rate, activate the muscles, increase mobility, all ready for our exercise class that's coming up. So we're going to start off nice and simple with just some marching on the spot. We're going to be doing this for 1 minute. Do it at your own pace, whether you want to go nice and slow or quite fast, completely up to you. Fab, let's get going for 1 minute then. Make sure we're swinging those arms, lifting the feet nice and high whilst we're marching. Remember, we're working to increase that heart rate, so just taking it at your own pace. That's great, keep swinging those arms, lifting those knees nice and high. And we are nearly halfway there. Great. Again, taking it at your own pace, just as we start the warm-up. Okay, 10 more seconds. Great, and bring that down to a stop. Brilliant. Okay, next thing we're going to do, we're just going to do some jogging on the spot this time. We're only going to go for 30 seconds this time. Again, doing it at your own pace. Just make sure that you've got a nice, safe environment around you. Okay, when we're ready, off we go. Again, make sure we're moving those arms and lifting those feet nice and high off the floor. That's it, halfway there. Good, 5 seconds left. And bring it down to a stop. Brilliant. Okay, so next thing we're going to do, we're going to go to do some hip circles. So for this one, I want your feet sort of shoulder width apart on the floor and the hands just resting on your hips. We're going to start off with very small circles. So we're going to sort of push the hips to one side, bring them round to the front and round to the back. Again, just do them at your own pace, and also with the circle, just make it as small or as big as you can, depending on how you're feeling. We're going to go for 30 seconds. When we're ready, off we go. That's it. So just make sure we're concentrating on really pushing those hips all the way around the movement. That's good. And because we're coming up to halfway, we're going to switch and go in the opposite direction. Again, like I said, if you need to do small circles with how you're feeling at the moment, that's absolutely fine. Or nice and big circles, doesn't matter. Great, and come to a stop. Okay, for the next exercise, we're going to go into doing some leg swings. for this one, I'm going to do it just freestanding, but if you need to, you can hold onto a wall, hold onto the back of a chair, whichever works best for you. We're going to start off with our right leg. So again, like I said, holding onto something for stability if needs be. We're going to go for 30 seconds. We're just going to lift the leg out in front of us and then slowly lift behind. Okay, off we go. So just swinging that leg at your own pace. Like I said, if you need to hold on to something, then that's absolutely fine. Good. That's great. Keeping the knee nice and straight. And just swinging back and forwards. That's it. We've got 5 seconds left on this leg. And then we'll switch over. Great. Okay. So if you need to swing the chair around to the other side or reposition yourself so that you can hold onto the wall the opposite way, that's fine. And then we'll go for 30 seconds again. So on the left leg this time, swinging back and forth. That's great. Again, just doing it at your own pace, lifting the leg in a range of movement that's comfortable for you. Good. Okay, 10 seconds left on this leg. Great, and come to a stop, just back into our resting position. So the next activity that we're going to do is going to be with our arms. We're going to go for some arm circles. So what we'll do, we'll start off with our right arm because we started with our right leg. We'll pop our hand out to the side, and what we're going to do is we're going to start with some circles, just going backwards like this. If you need to do the circles nice and small, that's absolutely fine. Obviously, if you can, then we're going to do nice big circles with the arm. Again, just do whatever feels comfortable for you at the moment. And again, we're going to go for 30 seconds. That's it. Like I said, make sure we're doing this one in a comfortable range of movement. It can be as small or as big as you need at the moment. That's great. We've done 15 seconds on this arm. That's great. Last 5 seconds. Brilliant, okay. And this time we're going to do the exact same on the left arm. So again, arm out to the side. You can do small circles if you need to. Obviously big ones if you can as well. Fab. Off we go, 30 seconds on this one. That's great. Again, just going at the speed that sort of works for you at the moment. If you need to move nice and slowly through this movement, that's fine. Obviously if you can, then obviously we'll go a bit quicker. That's great, and just 5 more seconds. Perfect, okay. Last exercise of our warm-up, we're gonna do some movements with our spine. So we're gonna work in 4 different directions. We're gonna go for a forward movement, a backwards movement, and then side to side as well. So what I'll do first is I'll show you what we're gonna do, and then I'll explain how many we're gonna do after that. So we're gonna have the feet shoulder width apart again. For the forwards movement, I'd like you to have your hands resting on the front of your legs. And then what I want you to do nice and slowly is just come down as far as you can until you start to feel that bit of a stretch in the lower back, and then return up to your neutral position. Then we'll go for the opposite. So this time I'll turn to the side to show you're gonna lean backwards. Again, just a gentle movement, and back up to the neutral position. Then hands down by our sides. Doesn't matter which side you do first, but you're going to bend over to the side, back up, and over to the other side. We're going to do 5 in each direction. Again, just going as far as you can. Okay, we'll do them all together. So if we start at the front, we're going to come down, just go as far as you can, and then back up to that neutral position. Then we're going to lean back, again to the neutral position, hands down by our sides. Drop one hand down the side of the leg, back up, and then over to the side. So that's 1 repetition. So now we'll go for our second. So again, we're going to come back down the front, nice and slowly and controlled. And then this time lean backwards. great. And then down to one side, back up and over into the other direction. Brilliant. On to number 3. So back to the front, coming down as far as you can, and back up, and then leaning back and back into that neutral position. Hands down by our sides, and we'll go over to one side and back up, then over to the other side and back up. And now for number 4, back to the front, leaning forwards and back up. Hands on our hips, and we'll lean backwards, back to our neutral position and down to one side and back over to the other direction. Brilliant. Last one now, hands back on the front. We're going to lean down as far as we can, back up to the middle, hands on our hips and lean back to the middle, and then this time we'll drop down one side, back up, and then down to the other side. Okay, that completes our warm-up. So if you want to go and grab a bottle of water ready for our exercise class, and we'll get started. Okay, so for this exercise, we're going to do a weighted lateral raise. So we're going to need our weights for this one. With any of our weighted exercises, make sure you find which weight works for you at the moment. The way to tell which weight is correct for you is by the end of our set, you should be struggling with that last repetition, okay? We shouldn't be struggling the whole way through. That means our weights are too heavy. If you get to the last repetition of the set and you think that was far too easy, then you might need to increase those weights, okay? So once you've got your weights, be careful how you pick them up. Make sure we're keeping our back nice and straight. And then we're gonna have the feet shoulder width apart, a weight in either hand, keeping the shoulders down and relaxed. We're just gonna lift the weights out to the side to shoulder height and then back down, okay? We're gonna do 8 repetitions. We're gonna go for 3 sets. On our last set, we're going to do something slightly different with the repetitions, but I'll explain that when we get there. So for this one, we're just going to go for 8 repetitions. Off we go. Nice and slowly, at your own pace, making sure that we're breathing nice and steady throughout. Lift into shoulder height and back down. If you can't get to shoulder height at the moment, that's fine. Just go as far as you can. Great, up to 8 and then back down. And carefully place those weights down. If you've got a high surface you can place them on, that's great. If you're popping them on the floor, make sure that we're just keeping our back nice and straight as we lower to the floor. Okay, so that's the end of the first set. We're going to have a 20-second break and then we'll come back for the second one. Okay, back onto our second set then. So carefully pick your weights back up, keeping that back nice and straight. Feet shoulder width apart again, and off we go at our own pace. We're going to go for 8 more repetitions. So lifting out to shoulder height and back down, making sure that when we're lifting up, we're not hunching our shoulders like this. We're keeping the shoulders down and relaxed as we lift up. Okay, that's halfway, so 4 more. Nice steady breathing. And the last one. That's great. Okay, pop those weights down nice and carefully. Fab. Okay, we're going to take a 20-second break. Grab a drink if you need one, and then we'll come back for our final set. Okay, back for our final set then. As I mentioned before, we're going to do something slightly different with the repetitions on this one. So we're going to work until failure. What I mean by that is you're going to do as many repetitions as you can until it feels like you can't lift those weights anymore, okay? It doesn't matter if that's 4 repetitions, it doesn't matter if that's 12 repetitions, just keep going until you feel like you can't lift those weights up any longer, okay? So carefully lift the weights up, feet shoulder width apart, and off we go, nice and steady. That's great, so keep going until you feel like you can't lift those weights anymore. If you can do more than I can, then just make sure that you pause the video and carry on, and then join back in once you're finished, okay? So keep going with those until you feel like you can't do any more. And then that is the end of this exercise. So we're going to take another 20-second break, grab yourself a drink if you want one, and then we'll come back for the next exercise. Okay, for this exercise, we're going to be doing a weighted external rotation. So pick our weights up nice and carefully. Have the feet shoulder width apart again. For this one, we're going to keep the elbows down by our sides and we're going to bend them up to 90 degrees like so, okay? We're going to keep those elbows tucked in. From here, you're just going to rotate out to the side and back in, okay? We're going to do 8 repetitions for 3 sets. We're going to change up the repetitions on the last set, but I'll explain that when we get there. So for this one, let's go for 8. So squeeze the shoulders into that position, keep the elbows in, nice steady breathing. Okay, 3 more. Great, okay, and relax from there. Pop the weights down nice and carefully. And then we're going to take a 20-second break and then we'll come back for our next set. Okay, into our second set then. So nice and carefully, lift those weights back up, keeping the back nice and straight as we lift them. Feet shoulder width apart, elbows down by our side again. Bend them to 90 degrees and off we go for 8 more repetitions. So rotate those arms out to the side, nice and slowly, squeezing the muscles in the shoulder to move the arms. That's halfway, so 4 more. That's great. And last one. Great, okay. So bring those weights back down to the floor nice and carefully. Brilliant, okay, we're going to take a 20-second break. Make sure to grab a drink if you need one, and then we'll come back for our third and final set of this exercise. Okay, on to our final set of this exercise. As I mentioned before, we're going to do something slightly different with the repetitions. We're going to do this exercise until failure. So I want you to keep going with this exercise until you feel like you can't do any more, until you can't rotate those arms with the weights anymore. That doesn't matter how many you get on this one. I'd keep count just so that you know for next time whether you can try and get more, but just keep going to whatever feels right for you at the moment. So nice and carefully lift those weights off the floor, feet shoulder width apart, into that starting position with the elbows at 90, and then off we go. Keep squeezing those muscles, nice steady breathing, just going as much as you can with the weights. Okay, working to that failure point where you feel like you can't rotate the arms anymore. If you can do more than me, then just pause the video and keep going until you can't do any more, and then join back in when you are ready. If not, we're going to take 20 seconds break, grab yourself a drink of water if you need one, and then we will be back for our next exercise. Okay, so this exercise is called the narrow hands push-up. We're going to be down on the floor for this one, so take your time getting to the floor. If you need to pause the video whilst you do so, then make sure that you do. We're going to be in a push-up position, so we're going to have our hands on the floor. If you find it too easy being on your knees, then you can go up onto just your feet. If you find that a little bit too difficult, then we will go onto our knees. The hands for this one, as suggested in the title, are going to be in a narrow position. So normally we would have our hands directly below the shoulders for a push-up. However, we're going to bring the hands slightly in so that when we come down into our push-up, the hands should be just below our sternum, and then we'll push back up into our push-up position. We're going to do 8 repetitions, and we're going to do 2 sets through. We'll have a bit of a break in between. Do these at your own speed. If you feel like you need to slow down at all, then make sure that you do. So hands out, so start with them underneath the shoulders, bring them in nice and close, and then from here, keeping the rest of the body nice and straight, we're going to come down to the mat and push ourselves back up. Okay, 7 more. Breathe in nice and slowly throughout. Okay, that's halfway, so 4 more. Great, 2 more. Nice steady breathing, keeping the rest of the body nice and straight. Great. Okay, so that's the end of our first set. We're going to have a quick 20-second break. Grab yourself a drink if you need one, and then we'll come back for the second one. Okay, and let's get started on our second set then. So same thing, onto your knees, hands on the floor, bring them into that narrow position. Like I said before, if you find it too easy on the knees, then you can come up onto the feet like so, and try from there. But if not, knees on the floor, body nice and straight, and off we go for 8 more repetitions. Take it at your own pace. Nice and slow. Okay, that's halfway. Okay, 2 more. Great. Okay, so bring yourself back up into a standing position at your own pace. That's the end of that exercise. We're going to have 20 seconds break. Grab yourself a quick drink if you need one, and then we'll be back for the next one. Okay, so this exercise is called our towel stretch. So as the name suggests, we're going to need a towel for this one. Any towel is fine. What we want to do is we want to have the towel so that it's open lengthways. You can fold it over a couple of times if you want, but we just need to make sure we've got the full length of the towel. what we're going to do is we're going to go one arm at a time. We're going to pull the towel round to our back. Okay, so it should be sitting down along the spine. With the opposite hand, you're going to hold on just above the hips. And then using this top hand, you're going to pull up. And you should feel the stretch along the shoulder of the bottom arm, okay? We're going to hold the stretch for 20 seconds. Then we'll swap over to the other side. We're going to repeat it 3 times on each arm, and then we will be ready to go on to the next exercise, okay? So take the hand round the back with the towel. Opposite hand goes at the bottom, and we're just going to gently pull up, and off we go for 20 seconds. Okay, relax from there. We're going to swap hands. So the left hand is going to come over with the towel. Right hand goes just above the hips. And then we're going to pull up just as much as you can until you feel that gentle stretch. And off we go for 20. Remember, it should just be a gentle stretch that we're feeling on the bottom arm. It shouldn't be painful. If it is, it might mean that we're just pulling a bit too far. So just relax the stretch down until you just feel that gentle stretching movement. Okay, and relax from there. So we're going to go for the other side again. If you need a little bit of a break in between, then make sure you pause the video and join back in when you feel comfortable. But if not, we're going to take the towel back round on the original arm, hand just above the hip, holding onto the towel, and pull up nice and gently, just as far as you can. Okay, off we go for 20 seconds. Nice and steady breathing. That's great, okay. And then back down, we're going to swap hands, take the towel over the back, other hand above the hips, and pull up, and off we go for 20 seconds. Nice and steady breathing, really trying to relax into the movement if you can. That's great. Okay, and let's move on then to the last one on either side. As I said before, if you need a little bit longer in between, then just make sure to pause the video and come back when you are ready. If not, let's take the towel over, hold on just above the hips, and then pull just as much as you can, and off we go for 20. Making sure that we're just doing a gentle pull with the top arm. And relax from there. Okay, let's swap arms. Hold on with the opposite hand, and let's pull and hold for 20. Okay, 5 seconds left. And relax from there. Okay, so we're going to take a 20-second break now. Grab a drink if you need one, and then we'll be back for the next exercise. Okay, so this exercise is called the weighted full range of movement abduction. All that means, abduction is when we're bringing our arms out to the side, and for the full range of movement, we're going to be going right from the bottom all the way up to the top, whilst holding on to our weights. So nice and carefully, pick up your weights. We're gonna go for 8 repetitions. We're gonna do 3 sets, and let's get started with our first one. Okay, so you're gonna start palms facing each other, down by your sides, and then we're gonna lift all the way to the top, hold for a second, and back down. That's 1, and we've got 7 more. Up to the top, and back down. Up to the top, nice steady breathing, and back down. Okay, this is our 4th one, so that's halfway. 4 more to do. Nice and steady with the breathing. Keeping the rest of the body nice and still. Just be those arms that are moving. 2 more. That's great. Okay, then very carefully pop your weights back down, keeping the back nice and straight. Great, okay, we'll take 20 seconds break and then we'll come back for our second set. Okay, back for our second set then, so make sure you pick up your weights nice and carefully. Come into that position with the feet shoulder width apart, palms facing each other, down by your sides, and let's go for our second set of 8 repetitions. So up to the top, and back down. If you can't get all the way to the top, that's fine. Just go as far as you can, and then lower back down. Okay, that's 4, so we're halfway. Keeping the rest of the body nice and still. Okay, 2 more. Nice steady breathing. And back down. Okay, place those weights down nice and carefully. Then we're going to have a 20-second break, grab yourself a drink if you need one, and then we'll come back for our next exercise. Okay, so into our final set for this exercise, we're going to do something slightly different with the repetitions on this one, and we're going to do the exercise until failure. So we want to keep going until we feel like our muscles can't do any more. If you can reach 8, that's great, and then if you feel like you can carry on, that's brilliant. If you feel like you can't get to 8 and your muscles are too tired before then, that's also absolutely fine. We're finding your failure point, so just go up until you feel like the muscles can't lift those weights anymore, okay? So pick up those weights nice and carefully, feet shoulder width apart, into our starting position with the arms down by our sides, palms facing each other, and then off we go for our final set, lifting up to the top and back down, and just keep going until you feel like you can't do any more, or until you start to notice that you're using other parts of your body to help lift. So if you find that you're moving your back and things like that to try and get the weights up, then that's our failure point. Okay, keep going then. If you can do more than I can, then just pause the video and continue on, and then join back in once you have found your failure point. Okay, so that's the last exercise of that set. What we're going to do now is we're going to have another 20-second break. Grab yourself a quick drink if you need one, and we'll come back for the next exercise. Okay, so this exercise is called the halo. So for this one, we're gonna need 1 weight. If your weights are too big when you're trying to do this exercise, then you can just use another object that's got a little bit of weight behind it, just a small object for this one. So we're gonna pick up 1 weight. Okay, we're gonna hold the weight up in front of our head, okay? And then we're gonna pass the weight round the head, okay? So like we're drawing a circle with the weight all the way around the head, back round to the front, okay? We're gonna do this on a timer, so we're gonna go for 20 seconds. When we get to 10 seconds, I'll let you know and we'll switch directions. And we're gonna do this 3 times through, okay? So when you're ready, get your weight and off we go with 20 seconds. So nice and carefully, we don't want to be hitting our head with the object, so nice and careful as we go round. Okay, and then change direction. That's great. Okay, and then rest from there. Okay, we're going to take a 20-second break. If you need a drink, make sure you get one, and then we'll come back to do the second set. Okay, let's get going with our second set then. So nice and carefully pick your weight up again. Feet shoulder width apart, and off we go for 20 seconds. Again, I will tell you when we get to 10 seconds. Okay, and change direction. Nice circles around the head. Okay, and relax from there. Okay, pop the weight down nice and carefully. That's the end of the second set. We're gonna go do one more, but we're gonna have a 20-second break first. So if you need a drink, make sure you grab one, and then we'll come back for the last set. Okay, into the final set of this exercise. So nice and carefully pick up your weight or your object that you're using. Feet shoulder width apart. Hold that weight in front of the face and off we go for 20 more seconds. Okay, so taking the object in a circle around the head at your own pace. Okay, and stop there and change direction. Being nice and careful with that object. Okay, and relax from there. Pop the weight or the object down nice and carefully. That is the end of that exercise. If you need a quick drink, make sure you grab one, and we'll be back in 20 seconds for the next exercise. Okay, this exercise is called our tricep stretch. So for this one, we're going to do static holds on each arm. So we're going to hold our positions for 15 seconds on each arm, and we'll do it 3 times through. So for this one, you can do it in a standing position, a seated position, kneeling down, whichever is most comfortable for you. And what we're going to do, so I'll show you with our right arm first. We're going to take the right arm up to our head, and then you're going to bend the elbow and drop the hand behind the head. From here, you're going to take your left arm nice and gently over here, and you're just going to gently pull with the opposite arm. Okay, just very gentle until you feel the stretch down the back of the arm. And then we're going to hold that position for 15 seconds. Okay, so let's get into the position. So arm up, bend the elbow down behind the head, lift over the top and gently pull just as much as you can, and let's hold it for 15. Off we go. So nice steady breathing when you're doing this one, and being really gentle when you're pulling over with the opposite arm. From the back, this hand should sit down over the shoulder. Okay, and relax from there. So release the arm and come back down to a neutral position. We're going to do the same thing now, but stretching the left arm instead. So we're going to take the left arm up, drop the hand behind the head, take the right arm over to the elbow and just gently pull. Okay, off we go. Just going as far as you can with this one. You should just feel a gentle stretch, not pain. If you're feeling pain, we might just be going too far with this one, so just go as far as you can. Okay, and relax from there. Okay, we'll go back over to the original side now. So we're going to lift the right arm, drop the hand behind the head, take the other arm over, gentle pull, and off we go for 15. If you feel like that's too much for you at the moment, you don't need to add the extra pull in. If you can feel the stretch just by putting the hand down like this, that's absolutely fine. We just use the hand for that extra bit of stretch. Okay, and relax from there. Right, let's go with our left arm again. So we're going to lift the left arm, drop the hand behind the head, take the other arm over, gentle pull, and off we go for 15. So our back should be staying nice and straight on this one. Head should be nice and neutral. Only place you should be feeling it is in the back of the arm. Okay, and relax from there. Okay, we've got one more then on each side. So we're going to go back to the original side, take the arm up, drop the hand behind the head, lift the other arm over, and just gentle pressure with that other hand. Off we go. Nice and steady breathing on this one with it being a stretch. Want to keep that breath nice and slow and relax into the position. Okay, and release. Okay, one more left on the opposite arm. So we're going to lift up, drop the elbow behind, take the hand over, and a gentle pull. Off we go for 15. Nice steady breathing. Feel that stretch in the back of the arm. And relax. Okay, great. So that is the last exercise in today's class before we move into a cool down. So we're going to have a 20-second break. Make sure to grab yourself a drink and then I'll meet you back here for our cool down. Okay, let's get started with our cool down. So with the cool down, we're going to be focusing on bringing that heart rate back down, bringing our breathing rates back down, and sort of just relaxing the muscles after the class that you've done. So we're going to start off nice and easy with 30 seconds of deep breathing. So for the breathing, I'd really focus on breathing in through the nose and then breathing back out through the mouth. We're wanting those nice deep breaths. So when we are breathing in, try and think about sort of filling the rib cage, and then obviously releasing on the breath out. Okay, we're going to go for 30 seconds all together. Off we go. So like I said, breathing in through the nose and back out through the mouth. And make sure, like we said, we're really trying to fill that rib cage with air when we're breathing in and then breathing out nice and slowly. You might find that at the moment, because you've just finished the exercises, that it's a bit difficult to slow that breathing rate down, but just go at your own pace. Okay, fab. What we're going to go on to next, again, nice and easy, we're going to go on to some walking on the spots. So in the warm-up before, we were obviously trying to increase our heart rate with the marching and the jogging. This time we're trying to bring it back down. So we're going to go nice and slowly and just walk on the spot. Okay, for 30 seconds, off we go. That's great. So still swinging those arms like we were before, but obviously just in a bit more of a relaxed position on this one and going a little bit slower. That's great. That's halfway there. 5 more seconds. Great. Okay, this time we're going to move on to doing some hip circles. So we did these in our warm-up before, but again, a bit like the walking, we're going to bring the pace down on this one. So we're going to have the feet shoulder width apart, hands on the hips, and again, make the circles as small or as big as you can. And we're just going to go big circles with the hips, nice and slowly. We're going to do 30 seconds all together. Off we go. So bringing the pace down a little bit on this one, just moving through the full movement, nice and slowly. We can still concentrate on our breathing in these cool down exercises. So really trying to slow that breathing down. 10 more seconds. Great, okay. For the next movement, we're going to be going down to the floor. So take your time getting down. If you need to hold on to something, then do that. Nice and carefully onto the floor. And we're going to have the feet out in front, legs nice and straight. I want you to try and keep the knees as straight as possible with this one. And then we're going to rest the hands on front of the thighs. From here, we're just going to slide down the legs just as far as you can. And we want to grip on to our legs as close as we can to our ankles, and we're going to hold that stretch for 30 seconds. Okay, so moving down just as far as you can, and then let's hold for 30 seconds. Off we go. Still focusing on that breathing when we're doing this movement, so breathing nice and slowly in and out, and we should feel that nice gentle stretch down the back of the legs. Okay, we're halfway there. 10 seconds left. And 5 seconds. Okay, and sit back up into that relaxed position. We're going to get ourselves back up into a standing position, but again, take your time. If you need to hold on to something to help you get up, then that's absolutely fine. Okie doke. Once we're up then, for the next movement, we're going to be doing some stretches, mobility work for the middle back. So we're going to have the feet shoulder width apart again. The hands this time are going to come up behind the head. And we're going to be doing 4 different movements. So we're going to be coming down into a forward position, back up and into a slightly extended position. Then we're also going to do some flexion to the side, back up into a middle position and over to the side. Okay, we might add in a little bit of rotation too, just to stretch a few extra muscles. We're going to go for 30 seconds. I want you to go at your own pace, and we're just going to move through all those different movements, just making sure that we're stretching all the right muscles. Okay, off we go all together. So coming forwards, back up into that slightly extended position, and back down, over to the sides, and then rotating. That's great. And again, we're going to go slightly forwards and up and slightly back. Then we're going to lean to the sides. And again, we might go slightly over 30 seconds, but we want to get all those movements back in. And the final rotation. Okay, and then bring the arms back down into our neutral position. We're going to finish off by doing 30 seconds of our deep breathing again. So we're going to go in through the nose, out through the mouth, make sure we're trying to fill that rib cage there, and then release. Okay, off we go. So hopefully this breathing will be sort of easier now. Hopefully you'll be breathing that a little bit slower. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Again, really trying to fill that rib cage with air. And back down. Brilliant. Okay, well done everyone. So thank you for attending our exercise class today. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we hope to see you very soon on our next session. Thank you.